Good morning, Magic players, and buggy lovers, and car players of all kinds. This is probably the only shot you're going to get at Kaiba today, and I apologize for it being in the dark, at least in this video. I'm on a bit of a time constraint. So the guy just went out the door for his morning walk, so I have maybe like half hour, 40 minutes at most if I'm lucky. And I really want to shoot a quick response video to all the stuff that was being discussed yesterday. Just want to make sure that my phone is actually plugged in and working. Okay, good. Apologies for the video flip randomly there. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that we are going to have a quick discussion about this and the bracket changes and stuff, and or rather not so much changes, but then there is also a lot of changes, so it's kind of interesting. And I wanted to respond to that. And I'm also going to crack 2 or 3 of these packs. I haven't decided how many. Depends on time limits and whether my dad gets back. So, let's get into this real fast because I don't want to waste time. Rachel Weeks is on the committee. I'm not really sure what they call themselves anymore. I think it's the Commander Rules Committee over at Wizards, but I can't remember for sure if that's what they renamed themselves as or something else. But anyways, this is what we got. She says, no major changes to the brackets at this time, but we've been working on clarifying some of the vibes. Can you see me doing quote fingers? Vibes. Around each bracket, including adding average save turns and delineating expectations for decks, win conditions, and gameplay. We've also removed tutor restriction from 1 and 2. I find that very interesting that they removed the tutor restriction from 1 and 2, first off, right off the bat there. That's definitely going to speed up the game to a certain extent if you can pull off those tutors, and it kind of depends on how many tutors there are in your deck, which I think will make a huge difference. But yeah, so we got that, and we've got her saying no made and then she retweeted herself essentially because she got a whole bunch of responses to this, and her responses clearly indicated that I've seen a lot of concern about staying within the rules of each bracket, and would like to reiterate that these are not rules. These are average expectations of kind of game. I think she meant of the kind of game. If your deck doesn't meet those expectations, you can always mention it in pregame and adjust them. And this is where I kind of get lost a little bit on this. And there was a comment down here that I thought was very interesting. First off, I like this one. Rule 0, always rule 0. Definitely for sure, but the thing that really caught me was this one by Mad Mage down here. I detest this vibes crap. You are a rules panel. Make rules. And honestly, I kind of can get behind that to a certain extent. I think there is a lot to be said about the way that everything is just kind of like a go with what you feel sort of like thing. Just keep in mind these sort of like expectations. And I'm going to put the expectations again in quotes because it's not really expectations. It's more of kind of like almost like a guideline to help you create the proper expectations for your game. But again, is that what we really want? Is that what we really need as Commander players? I can tell you right now that I haven't played Commander for the most part since the bracket changes have came out. I've played maybe 7 or 8 games since they did the bracket change. No, more than that. But I definitely haven't been playing since the summer. I've played maybe 2 games of Magic since my last vacation days off, to be perfectly honest, just because I haven't had the time, the energy, and patience to a certain extent for the game, with the way that I noticed people taking advantage of this system. And that is where I came into this with this sort of similar feeling to Mad Mage, where it's like, we kind of need more rules than we need guidelines. But let's go over what they've given us here. So first off, they've changed Bracket 1 to Exhibition. Players expect decks to prioritize a goal, theme, or idea over power. Rules around card or commander legality to be flexible if all players agree. Win conditions to be highly thematic or substandard. Gameplay to be an opportunity to show off their creations. To play at least 9 turns before anyone wins or loses. And then restricted by theme, no game changers, no mass land denial, no extra turns, no 2-card combos. Exceptions can be made for highly thematic decks. So here's where I get like, so if I designed a deck specifically around extra turns, that is a theme. Like, it seems really unfair, but it seems like it's a theme. Anyways, we got core, which no longer seems to have anything to do with precons, it seems. Decks to be mechanically focused with some cards chosen to maximize creativity and or entertainment. Win conditions to be incremental, telegraphed on the board, and disruptible. Gameplay to be low pressure, proactive, and considerate, letting each deck showcase its plan. To play at least 8 turns before anyone wins or loses. No game changers, mass land denial, chaining extra turns, 2-card combos. What I like here is all these ones are hard set, if you look. There is no little extra little asterisk besides all these ones, because these ones don't have anything to do with theme. So therefore, they don't get an extra special consideration for bracket 2. I kind of think that's funny. So we've got bracket 1, which is supposed to be like the easiest, lightest game where there really isn't supposed to be like anything crazy. But as long as, if it's thematic, you can include it. So it's like you basically just allow the people over in CDH to say, well, I've made a thematic deck. It doesn't necessarily focus on winning. It focuses on doing something stupid like denying you all your lands. So therefore, it is on theme. So why can't I play an exhibition? And see, this is where we're going to get into issues, I feel like. Like, I don't know. I'm almost of the opinion that they should have left things the way they had it. For the record, I have not watched anybody on YouTube or looked at anything besides what Rachel Weeks has posted here. I deliberately avoided looking at stuff until this morning so I could make this video and have it be as pure a response as possible. Although I will say that I did notice right before I was about to start that my friend Adam over at God Item Games posted this, and I think this is really helpful, and we're going to go over it in a minute. But I want to finish looking at what they've posted here first, just to give us like an unbiased, unvarnished look at what they're saying, sort of thing. Bracket 3 is upgraded. Decks can be powered up with strong synergy and high card quality. They can effectively disrupt opponents. Win conditions that can be played from hand in one turn, usually because of steadily accrued resources. Gameplay to feature many proactive and reactive plays. To play at least 6 turns before anyone wins or loses. And here we have 0 to 3 game changers. Mass land denial is not allowed. Chaining extra turns not allowed. No 2-turn combos before turn 6. So, again, it's like these two are specifically saying that these things are bad at this level. But over here, if it's thematic, we can include them. I just don't think that's fair. I think you basically just screwed over the people at Exhibition, in my opinion, by allowing that. Moving on to number 4. Optimized. Decks to be lethal, consistent, and fast. Designed to take people down as fast as possible. They do not adhere to the CEDH metagame, though. Win conditions to vary from archetype to archetype, but can end a game quickly and suddenly. Gameplay to be explosive and powerful, featuring huge threats and efficient disruption to match. And to play at least 4 turns before anybody wins or loses, with no deck restrictions. And CEDH players expect decks that are meticulously designed to battle in the CEDH metagame with the ability to win quickly or generate overwhelming resources, often built using existing CEDH knowledge, tools, and or deck lists. Win conditions to be optimized for efficiency and consistency, gameplay to be intricate and advanced with razor-thin margins for error. Players prioritize victory over all else. Games could end on any turn. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I have no desire to play in this. I did just build a deck recently that probably would fit into this, and I'm scared to play it in that because the way they've reworded that kind of makes it nerve-wracking for me a little bit to even jump in there. But that is what we have been presented by the Rules Committee, or whatever they wish to call themselves at this point, over at Wizards of the Coast, who now controls Commander. And we also have a few interesting things here along her post. we have a few questions here that I think are very interesting and or a few things that are worth speaking about before we move on to what Adam posted. So we also removed a few cards from the Game Changers list, including Expropriate, Jingitaxis Core Augur, Sway of the Stars, Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger, Urza Lord High Artificer, Yuriko Tiger Shadow, Winota, Joiner of Forces, Kinan, Bonder Prodigy, Deflecting Swat, and Food Chain. Good grief, that's a long list of things they pulled off. I like that they put Yuriko back in right away. It's kind of funny. So basically, they screwed over Ninja decks when they took Yuriko out, and within one cycle of coming back around to visit this, they've decided, no, you know what, we shouldn't have taken commanders away from you, we're putting them back in. Good job, guys. Way to make bracket 1 look scary again. Because hey, it'll be thematic if they play ninjas only, right? Keep in mind, all my little sarcastic jabs here are based on the idea that I've played with people who actually make these kinds of comments at game tables at LGSs in this city. Not anywhere else. I've played other places where they actually were pretty decent, but like since moving back to Hamilton, I've noticed that the people who play here really just play to win and don't really care about having fun with the game a lot more often than not. And it's just not my style. But that's on me to find a play group, I guess, that fits my style more so. Anyways, the other things I wanted to note, are you for or against a Rhystic Study ban, and are you for or against a Thassa's Oracle ban? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say keep them both unbanned, because, I mean, if you guys are going to just do this nonsense where you guys are going to say, hey, it's thematic, like, I could play my blue deck that wants to play Solitaire in bracket 1, technically. Technically, it's thematic. All I'm doing is drawing cards, discarding cards, and milling cards. If you guys saw my video last Sunday, you know that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not fighting in combat, really, with that deck. I'm not trying to reduce their life points by or their life total by an exceedingly large amount or anything like that. I just want to draw my cards, discard my cards, make you mill your deck, and get to Thassa's Oracle or the Maniac, Laboratory Maniac. Either way, and win the game. Anyways, yeah. Before I go on to what Adam wrote, though, let's crack a pack. I'm going to see if I can do this without turning off the video. I'm going to start with a Rise to Zendikar. I think we'll do Spider-Man second, and if we have time, we'll do the core. See if my dad gets home too early or not. I do not have the camera stick set up, unfortunately, because I'm trying to do this on the fly, so... We got a plant creature token, which is cool. I always need more of these. And as a 0/1 instead of a 1/1, which are really useful for me for, oh, what's its face? That one legendary that likes, lands. Ooh, I forgot to check if there's a pack trick. 1 second. Is there a pack trick I need to do? No, it looks like I'm good. Okay. No pack trick to Zendikar. We have a cool art card to start us off. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be that way or this way. Probably this way, it looks like, based on the text. So, neat. And it is a copy of Mountain. Oh, that's a mountain? Craziness. Cool. We got a full art plains. Beautiful artwork on that plains. Gorgeous. And the cards, let's see. We start off with a Hagar Constrictor, 2 and a black for 0/0, enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on as Menace. Sick. That's an insanely good snake card. I'm liking that. Ghoul Draws Mucklord, 2 and a black for 2/3. When this thing dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay. Sensing a theme so far. Scale the Heights, 2 and a green, put a +1/+1 counter onto target creature you gain 2 life, you may play an additional land this turn, and you get to draw a card. Holy shite. That's a good sorcery. I'm working on my mono green deck right now. That might make the cut. We got ourselves a Mind Drain. It just doesn't want to focus. Ooh, the artwork's really cute. 2 and a black, target opponent discards 2 cards, mills a card, loses a life, and I gain 1. These cards are vicious in this pack. Pair Tactician. 2 and a white for a 3/2. Whenever it and at least one other warrior attack, put a +1/+1 counter on this thing. Okay. That's sort of mid compared to the rest of the stuff we pulled so far, but still decent. Fireblade Charger, 1 red for a 1/1. As long as this thing is equipped, it has haste, and when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Ooh, and it's a goblin. Nice. Do need more goblins. Full art coming in. It is a Territorial Scytheclaw. Ooh, nice. I love this card, and I've never pulled a full art one of it. It's beautiful. 2/1 with trample and landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, this thing gets a +1/+1 counter. I love that. That might be my favorite card of the day so far. Even though I have a few copies of it, but never that one version. Blue with kicker 2 and a blue. Enchant creature. When this thing enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, tap enchanted creature, and the enchanted creature doesn't untap during its untap step. Bubble Snare. It's not bad. Alright. This is our rare. Inscription of Ruin. 2 and a black. Kicker 2 and 2 black. Choose one, but if it was kicked, you can choose any number of them instead. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Destroy target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less. Neat. It's not a bad little sorcery. We've got another rare here. Skyclave Apparition. 1 and 2 white for a 2/2. Core Spirit. Enters battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with converted mana cost 4 or less. When it leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates a XX blue illusion creature token. Ew, I don't really care for that much. I don't like giving out tokens for free, especially not something with XX power. And 1 and a red for a Cleansing Wildfire. Destroy target land, its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And you get to draw a card. That's decent. Good first pack, for sure. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go see what Adam said, though. Remind me later about how to speed up my computer, please. So this is Adam breaking down, or at least somebody broke it down, and then Adam copied it and put it into our Discord server. But here's what we got. For different brackets, games now last 9, 8, 6, 4, or any number of turns. Bracket 1 is now called Exhibition. Bracket 2 is now called Core. It is now unrelated to precons, because not all precons are made equal. Tutor restriction in brackets is removed. Most tutors are already in Game Changer list anyways. No bans, unbans this year. Well, that's not entirely true. We saw some things. Well, I suppose that's not bans. True. Okay, fair enough. Removed from the Game Changers list. Expropriate, Jin-Taxis, Sway of the Stars, Vorinclex, because those are examples of cards that they should change the game if you were able to cast them. Oh, these are expensive cards, so they should be able to change the game if you were able to cast them. And removed from the Game Changers list as well, Urza, Yuriko, Kinnan, and Winota. They are scaling back on putting commanders on Game Changers list because you can already see them and have a Rule 0 discussion beforehand. And Food Chain and Deflecting Swat, Food Chain combos are already included in brackets combo restrictions, and Deflective Swat isn't strong enough to stay on the list. They discussed Consecrated Sphinx, but they think that the difference between 6 mana and 7 is significant. They discussed Coalition Victory and Panoptic Mirror, but they think it's too early for after an unban to put those back on. Rhystic Study is too iconic and beloved to ban. They are still looking for feedback on this, though. Thassa's Oracle is also discussed for ban. CEDH seems split on banning it, and they think casual decks can also use it fairly. I honestly think that it would be fine in my bracket 3/4 deck. The way I've built it, I think that my deck is pretty good. I don't have a Rhystic Study, so it's not crazy overpowered. And I do have some things that will definitely kill me if I don't pay attention. No rules change for hybrid mana yet, but they are discussing it, and they want the community to discuss it. I'm not really sure what they're meaning by that. She does have something over here about it. Are you for or against change to hybrid mana rule? I don't know what the rule would be changed to, though. That's the thing. So I can't really speak on that too much because I haven't seen an explanation of what that means yet. They might think about adding another bracket either between 2 and 3 or 3 or 4. I think that's not a bad idea, to be honest. I think there should be a bracket specifically for precons
Or at least precon should be set aside from the brackets, and it should be its own like separate thing from this discussion, because I think that in a precon game where everybody plays precons, it's relatively fair as long as everybody's playing within the same like era of precons. Like if you're playing a precon from like 2016 against the precons of today, chances are you're not going to win unless it's one of the really really good ones. But I mean, I think that's a discussion that could be had. But other ways, I'm not sure if we need another bracket because I don't think it's going to make a difference. Clearly, having the brackets we have now isn't really helping the situation a super amount. No to banned as commanders, it would be a short list. No to separating CEDH and casual EDH ban lists. No to making all planeswalkers into commanders. I'm not sure why anybody would want that. No to raising poison counter number. That one could have been an interesting discussion. They will think about sideboards at some point. They don't think it's likely to change. And they will talk about feedback by the end of February 26. Okay, so that's what Adam's got for us there. I mean, there's a lot there to think about for sure. Ultimately, I'm not for banning Thassa's, not just because it's in my deck, but because in general I just think that banning cards sucks. Same with Ristic. I mean, if you ultimately it comes down to this. They're still putting the onus on players to create the games they want to play. This is more like a guideline for expectations of the type of game you should be looking to see if you want to play in that particular bracket. But then they also are like, it's rule zero, do what you feel like kind of thing, as we saw in the first part of the post up here, or the repost up here. No, it was the first post. The whole vibes thing, and then this thing about not being rules, like, I get the sentiment of wanting rules. I get the sentiment about wanting a structure that is formal and consistent. On the other hand, though, at a certain point, if we keep doing that, is like we've already lost control of this format to Wizards. How much more do we want to lose this format and what it was designed to be towards becoming more like modern or standard or something like that, is my question. And the more we try to make this a rigid thing, the more concerned I am that that could be a possibility in the near future. On the other hand, though, I just really don't feel like this is going to help the situation as much as it might make things worse. Um, Now precons don't really seem to have a place. Precons are basically something that you're going to have to decide what your precon is, whether you're going to put it into Architect or something like that, and Architect is going to tell you what bracket is. I don't know, but I mean, like, a lot of this again will come down to the player base. And as I said, like at least where I live right now, I can't find a good player group that doesn't want to just play crazy nonsense and go for the throat right away and that kind of stuff. Like I don't know. I'm gonna keep looking online. Hopefully, maybe I can find a new player group that is more relaxed and chill there. But for now, I think that's all I have for you for this response. So I'm going to open this Spider-Man pack. I think we're going to ignore the core 2021 pack for today because I'm pretty sure my dad will be back at any moment. But I do want to open the Spider-Man pack because I'm enjoying this set so far, even though a lot of people aren't. Now, if I remember correctly, Spider-Man does have a pack trick. Yes, so I will we'll put the land and one other to the back. Leave the token at the front. And then we should put like 3, maybe 4 for the rares? For the uncommons? Okay, let's do that. Let's go with that. Alright, here we go. We have a human citizen as our token. And on the other side, we got a copy token of Spider-Man, which is pretty cool looking, to be honest. I do like that, actually. And it's very on theme for the comics and such, so cool. Okay, good. We got to the comments. Passenger Ferry. 3. Whenever this vehicle attacks, you may pay blue, and you do. Another target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. Crew 2, 4/3. That's not bad. That could have actually made it into my blue deck if I hadn't finished it, but I'm not going to go back and redo it again. Steel Wrecking Ball. 5. When this artifact enters, it deals 5 damage to target creature. Pay 1 and a red. Discard this card. Destroy target artifact. Not my favorite. The ship was a little bit better than that one, at least. Venom's Hunger. 4 and a black, costs 2 less to cast if you control a villain, though. Destroy target creature and you gain 2 life. Eh. It's not bad. It is instant speed, but it's expensive. I'm going to put it mid. Web Up, 2 and a white. When this enchantment enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. It's one of those. I'm not a huge fan of those. Although I do like the flavor of it, I'm just not a huge fan of that kind of card. Professional Wrestler, 3 and a green. Human Warrior Performer. When this creature enters, create a treasure token. This creature can't be blocked by more than one creature, and it's a 4/4. That's pretty decent stats and abilities. Much better than the Venom one was, at least. Wild Pack Squad. 2 and a white for 2/3 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Up to one target creature gains first strike and vigilance. Ooh. That's pretty useful. It's almost like a lieutenant ability without the lieutenant part on it. Grow extra arms, 1 in a green, cost 1 less to cast if a target's aspired. Creature gets 4/4 until end of turn. Already had one of those, and I am building a spider deck, so I probably won't need a second one. But it only costs 1 less to cast with spiders, so it's still pretty good. Damage Control Crew, 3 and a green for 3/3. When it enters, choose one. Repair, return target creature of mana value 4 or greater from your graveyard to your hand, or exile target artifact or enchantment. It's actually pretty useful. A little expensive, but pretty useful overall as an ability. Raging Goblinoids. Goblin Berserker Villain, 4 and a red for 5/4 haste and mayhem. Cast this from your graveyard for 2 and a red if you discarded it. Oh, okay. It's pretty stacked. And it does have haste, so that's pretty good. We got ourselves a legendary of some sort. Wait for it to focus. Chameleon, Master of Disguise, 3 and a blue. Can enter as a copy of a creature you control, except that his name is Chameleon Master of Disguise. And it has Mayhem 2 and a blue, and it's 2/3. Okay. It's an interesting legendary. Always nice to pull legendaries, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to use it, per se. Another legendary, Swarm Being of Bees. 2 and a black for 2/2, flash, flying, and mayhem 1 black. Yeah. All these villains apparently are legendaries, which is nice, but I don't know about that. The island is kind of cool. It has the bridge from New York, but again, I've heard many complaints about this, and I agree with them to a certain extent. New York being in the realm of magic seems kind of weird. Granted, I am really excited for Ninja Turtles, but still. New York City being part of magic seems kind of weird. It would be better, honestly, if Universes Beyond took the characters from, say, New York City and transferred them into a magical realm somehow. Like if somehow they got sucked into Lorwyn, for example. That would be kind of neat. But, anyways. We have, as our holo, Romantic Rendezvous. 1 in a red. Discard a card, then draw 2 cards. Nice. It is really cute. I do like this scene from the movie. The original movie is the one I'm referring to, of course. But and our final card for the day and from this pack is Jackal, Genius Geneticist. 1 green, 1 blue for a 1/1 trample. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value equal to Jackal's power, copy that spell, except the copy isn't legendary, then put a +1/+1 counter on Jackal. Huh. Interesting. So the more you can power this up, the more you can cast something and get a copy of it, and then you power this up more. That's interesting. That could be a fun build too. Alright. I hope you guys have enjoyed this response video. I'm going to put this out as quickly as possible and then get to work on that splash pad video. I'm hoping to get that up by the end of the day, if not first thing tomorrow morning before new set versus old set comes out. I'd give you an extra shot of Kaiba, but I really don't know when my dad's going to be back. So from Kaiba over on the stairs and I to you here, much love, take care, enjoy your Wednesday, bye.